Hi there, and welcome to TechBrew AM, presented by the Technology Association of Iowa and Nutanix. TechBrew AM is a program put on by TAI where we talk to an Iowa technology executive about their role and their journey to get there. Like I said, Nutanix has been a proud sponsor of this, along with TAI, and we have Mike Ryder with Nutanix with us today. Mike, can you tell us what Nutanix does?
Yes, Nutanix is a leading web-scale hybrid cloud infrastructure for the enterprise customers. So what does that mean? It means we build out your infrastructure the way Amazon, Google, and Microsoft build out their data centers. This provides cloud-like scale-up and scale-out architecture with a full suite of automation capabilities running on hardware of your choice.
All right, so you're going to introduce our guest, Debbie Dean, in a moment here, but we ask a fun question, and we're going to ask Debbie later, but I'll ask you. Mike Ryder, comedy club or dance club?
Comedy club.
All right. Well, could you introduce our special guest today?
Yes, as a leader with more than 20 years of experience leading federal health services data initiatives, Debbie serves as the Vice President of Health Analytics Solutions for General Dynamics Information Technology. Debbie has a master's degree in healthcare administration and extensive experience with healthcare provider data collection, health services research, and Medicare, Medicaid programs. With more than 200 staff in West Des Moines, Iowa, and remote locations, Debbie leads a diverse portfolio of high-profile business initiatives at the intersection of health data, strategy, and innovation. These programs center on advancing the government's high-priority, large-scale health information technology initiatives, quality reporting and analytics projects, and payment evaluation programs. Debbie specializes in innovation analytic solutions, health data storytelling and communication insights, client relations, and successful leadership of diverse talent in order to ensure organic and strategic growth, complex, multi-stakeholder programs. Please help me welcome the Vice President of Health Analytics Solutions for General Dynamics Information Technology, Debbie Dean, to TechBrew AM.
Debbie Dean, welcome to TechBrew AM.
Thanks, Brian. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to see you. So I ask the same first question every time. What's your hometown and high school?
I grew up in Urbandale, went to Urbandale High School. Originally from Los Angeles, but lived most of my life here in the state of Iowa.
All right. So we want to know about your role at General Dynamics. We were talking briefly. I'm amazed by General Dynamics information technology and all the industries they're a part of. But let's talk about your journey to get to the role of Vice President of Health Analytics Solutions. So can you walk us through leaving Urbandale High School to this point right now?
I'll be happy to, and it certainly wasn't a well-planned, well-thought-out roadmap. It was certainly a more of a path of self-discovery and learning what I did enjoy along the way. Mm-hmm. So I ended up at the University of Iowa. I majored in sociology. I interned within the criminal justice system, and through that experience, I knew that there was just something more that I think I was reaching for. Ended up coming back to Des Moines, studying in healthcare as a respiratory therapist, and knew that wasn't where I wanted to land. So I was employed by Wellmark, entered the master's in healthcare administration program at Des Moines, what was then Des Moines University, and then through the right connections, ended up with what was then the Iowa Quality Improvement Organization. And this was many years ago when these were the early days of hospital and physician data collection for the purposes of measuring quality of care and health outcomes. And so we were in the early days of that, and it's grown over the last 20 years to become national initiatives, and for in a greater extent, this is what healthcare is somewhat paid on, is the quality of care. So it's really grown, and the whole industry has evolved since.
Well, I want to talk about that, the intersection of technology and healthcare and how that's advanced over your time in the industry. But can you talk about a little bit of what General Dynamics information technology does for those that don't know?
Sure. So General Dynamics is a global defense company, an aerospace company. And General Dynamics Information Technology is one of 4 businesses under the GD umbrella. And so, and that's where our business area resides. And so within GDIT, most of the business lines focus on enterprise IT infrastructure, network operations, large-scale data centers, and professional support services. In our corner of the business is health information technology, and we support some of the federal government's largest Medicare and Medicaid programs, large-scale systems and operations. Much of this work is not actually performed by the government, but contracted out. And so GDIT is one of the largest federal contractors in this area.
How has the pandemic accelerated or transformed healthcare and data and analytics and the way people utilize technology in healthcare?
There was an immediate need to transform healthcare delivery. Also, and the government, and there was a need for immediate data. We all watched this unfold through the media through the last year, and as the pandemic escalated. And so many of our programs we support for CDC and CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, required more rapid data feedback, integration of emerging data sources, rapid response to questions with the data that they had access to. So there was a rapid response that we had to evolve with the government and provide the information as best we could. And we saw this as the CDC was reporting on a daily basis. And so I think we've seen more analytic tools and forums evolve from this pandemic. We've certainly learned many lessons in where our health disparities lie, where we need better, faster tools of data collection and reporting. So, I think there's a general awareness of those needs now. And so I think that, especially with this new administration, we'll begin to see some of the new work evolve from those lessons.
So I don't think there's anything more precious than healthcare patient data or healthcare data. And so cybersecurity has to be on front of your mind. Can you talk about how much cybersecurity and protecting that data is paramount in your job?
Absolutely. So we run some of the largest healthcare services and insurance industry systems in the country. And that's just in our line of business. So GDIT as a whole has a very focused interest on data security. And as a support contractor of some of the largest defense and aerospace security systems in the world, this is an ongoing effort to stay ahead of the threats that exist and staying ahead of those security practices. Federal security guidelines are also always evolving to be smarter than those who are trying to threaten that security. So it's part of our daily world. It's to ensure the protection of the privacy data that we store, operate, utilize, and maintain for the federal and state governments.
So when Mike was going over your bio, there was a line in there that struck me that I wanted to dive in on. It was data analytics storytelling or healthcare data storytelling. What is that?
Data is very important. We collect data in so many different ways, and that's great. And storage of data is a science in its own. But until you can analyze that and translate it into information for all of the non-technical folks that are utilizing that information, it's really of no value. So the value is in being able to tell the story of what the data is telling us. So our teams of very highly skilled data scientists, programmer analysts, our clinicians, our epidemiologists, together we build the findings of the data so that we can translate that into meaningful information, meaningful stories that the data is telling us, so that the policymakers, the politicians, the large advocacy groups, the academic institutions, those organizations and stakeholders can better understand what it is that the data is telling us.
What's something you've learned this week?
I'm working on an Agile framework certification, so I'm learning more about the scaled Agile framework and all that entails. That will help me as we evolve better into more rapid Agile development work and my role as a leader of these skilled developers and how I can evolve that work with our changing customers' needs.
Speaking of your role as a leader, what would someone say about you that reports to you?
I hope they would say I have a great boss. She listens to me.
You look back at your career in technology, you've been a part of a lot of different projects. Is there one that is most important as you look back of a significant technology solution?
Definitely our national Medicare and Medicaid research database. I'm still working today with some of the individuals that we began that work back in 2004. It's a very small conceptual design that's now grown into one of the largest data repositories of protected health information of Medicare and Medicaid populations on a national level. So it's very important, rich data source for Medicare and Medicaid researchers across the country and policymakers. We're very proud of that.
That sounds very important, and you should be proud. Cliche question, what keeps you up at night in this role? What stresses you out?
Data security.
Yep, that's kind of what I thought. What were you passionate about as a kid in Urbandale?
Oh, music, people.
Playing music or listening to music?
Listening to music.
Oh,
that's
nice.
still my passion today.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Oh, good.
If I have any spare time, you'll probably catch me watching bios of musicians or bands on some cable television network.
Yeah. VH1 Behind the Music was my favorite show. So.
Yeah, right. Now they're on Reels.
They are, right? All right, give advice to 18-year-old Debbie as she's leaving Urbandale for the University of Iowa.
Stay focused on school. Everything else will just fall in line. Spend more time learning all of those different subjects.
You're a music fan, so a song plays every time you walk into a room. What song is that?
I think, last year we watched so many clips of our civil rights icon, Congressman John Lewis, dancing to Pharrell Williams' Happy. And I'd like to think that that song fits me too.
Perfect. Seinfeld or Friends?
That's tough. I'll go with Friends.
Friends or
There's a reason coming.
Yeah, right? That's coming up. Friends or The Office?
Friends.
Friends wins. Do you have a favorite curse word?
Depends on the context.
Have you been binge watching anything lately?
Certainly Schitt's Creek last year. I think more recently, I keep going back to this new segment of David Attenborough's called The Year Earth Changed. And it's all about what happened in our natural environment during COVID. It's fascinating. I'd recommend that to anyone to watch.
I'll have to check it out. You could have dinner with anyone alive or deceased. Who would that be and why?
Michelle Obama.
What is your...
Very much, as someone that we watched over the many years, and I've read her book, and it's fascinating to see how she navigated her way through life.
What's your favorite word?
Family.
Least favorite word?
I can't even say
it. Okay. Now I'm thinking. I got my mind racing now. Comedy club or dance club?
Oh, it depends on who I'm with. Probably dance club.
What are you not very good at?
Being criticized without reason.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the weirdest, how weird is Debbie?
Probably a 5.5. I'm just on the fence with everything. So with that question, I'll stay on the fence.
All right. A couple more questions and I'll get you out of here. I know you have a busy day. What sound or noise do you love?
I love to hear my granddaughter laugh.
What sound or noise do you dislike?
Probably when someone says to me, no, that won't be possible.
All right. All right, final question. Room, desk, or car, which one do you clean first?
My room.
Very good. Well, Debbie Dean, you have an enormous job. We appreciate all you do at the intersection of healthcare, data. You've been a part of the Technology Association of Iowa as a member and been around for a while, and we really appreciate your presence. And we appreciate you being on TechBrew AM this morning.
Thanks so much, Brian. It was a pleasure being here with all of you.
At TechBrew, innovation is in our DNA. And what we love about the relationship we have with Nutanix is that innovation is also in their DNA. And when you bring those two things together, great things happen.
Trek is really technology driven. Bikes are absolutely as technologically advanced as possible. And all of that is really driven under the hood. It's all being powered by Nutanix.
Once we dipped our toe into the hyper-converged infrastructure platform, we decided, hey, this could be a great platform for our dynamic enterprise workloads in our data center. And so then we actually converted our entire data center to a hyper-converged infrastructure platform on Nutanix. And so now we run all of our dynamic workloads across it.
The amount of time that I spend on any given day to maintain this infrastructure has now been cut almost to nothing.
One of the biggest differences we've seen with Nutanix Enterprise Cloud is the ability to improve our work-life balance and make Wharton a more attractive place to work.
The benefit of being hardware agnostic is that no matter which vendor I choose or which vendor gives me the best price in that moment, the software on top of it is always the same, so my procedures, my process of implementing doesn't change.